Yeah, I'm Sandy Ryza. I'm a senior data scientist at Clover Health. It's probably going to be the same answer as what a lot of people say, but it's really sort of like when you work as a data scientist, you're in your own little world, and that means both working on your own little sets of data, your own set of problems, but it also means like working in your own mindset of how to deal with data, right? Like you sort of accumulate this tribal knowledge of like this is the right way to do things. So I like really going to conferences, and Data by the Bay is a pretty good one for this kind of stuff. There's a lot of like cross-pollination. I like going to conferences where you can sort of get an understanding of how other people just view the whole enterprise of doing data science. Why do I think data is so cool and exciting these days? I mean, I think data has probably always been cool and exciting. Just now we're in a place where there's lots of tools and lots of computing power that allows us to actually do stuff with it. I sometimes ruminate on why data science became such a big thing now and not a little while ago, but I think it's ultimately just the tools that have enabled it. Today. So my talk is a talk on the Spark time series project. It's about how to use Spark to analyze time series data. I think the biggest insight from thinking about that kind of thing, like building a library to analyze data and time series data in particular, is that the layout is extremely important. Like that's one of the most crucial decisions when you are building that kind of thing. How do you lay out the data? What gets grouped together that enables answering, that affects the speed at which you're able to answer a certain set of questions. So it's like think really critically about the set of questions you want to be able to answer, and then think about which layout makes sense for that set of questions. There's a lot of advice sort of about what gets undersold about being a data scientist, so I'm a little bit reluctant to phrase it in terms of that. I think engaging with the data, you could sort of never go too far with thinking about like what does this data actually mean. That like you're never going to be like, oh, I wish I had spent less time trying to understand what's actually going on with this data. My analysis would have been so much better. And then just like sort of a curiosity, like my particular way of learning about things is I read something and I don't really understand it at all, and then I read it again and I understand little bits and pieces of it. It's not necessarily like unraveling a thread as much as it is like looking at like a Polaroid and having it like sort of slowly turn from a blurry image into something with distinct lines. And so like being able to do that, read something and be like, it's okay if I don't understand any of this, I will understand it later, takes a lot of the pressure off and makes it a lot easier to learn.